How do the 7 chakras and Tantra yoga go together? The word chakra is a Sanskrit word that means wheel, and now the whole chakra system has become very popular in the West. Many times they forget to mention its roots comes from yoga. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jimmy Barkan. I've been practicing hot yoga since 1980. I've been teaching since 1981. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell. You get notified when I post a new video, and smash that like button if you're enjoying this content. So what I want to do first is talk a little bit about what the chakras really are. And then a little bit later on, I'll tell you how they directly connect to yoga. So there are 7 known chakras, even though some say there's an 8th chakra in the ethereal body. Some say there are chakra in each hand and each foot, but there are 7 common chakras. I did a video a while back on 7 chakras and 7 poses. You may want to check that out after you watch this video. And I talked a little bit about it there, but I want to get more specific with this video. This is sort of a follow-up and an explanation. And in the West, there's a couple things that are a little different. And when I say the West, anybody outside of India, and especially the United States, there's 2 very well-known experts on the chakra systems. Anodeo Judith and Carolyn Myss. Carolyn Myss wrote a wonderful book called The Anatomy of the Spirit. And in the West, they label the chakras through colors. So they start with the color red, and through the scale of the rainbow, they go red, orange, yellow, green, all the way up. In India, it's a little different. They start with the color yellow. So that's one difference. The other difference is that Carolyn Myss mentions that there's not a specific location for each chakra. It's a general location around a certain area. The yogis have a different concept. The yogis say there is a specific physical location. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's talk about where these chakras are and what they represent first. So the word chakra is a Sanskrit word which means wheel. And the yogis were able to intuit this concept that we had these 7 cerebral spinal centers that are located in the spine and the brain. And that connects us to the cosmic consciousness. So we open up and balance physically, mentally, and spiritually through the chakras. They become a conduit to enable us to receive and to transmit into cosmic consciousness, which is the whole concept of yoga, man connecting to the universe, man connecting to God. So we clear out the blockages in the chakras so we can allow the energy to free flow. So let's just talk first about what the chakras are and what they mean. So the first chakra is at the base of the spine. So think of it as front and back in each of the first 6 chakras. So the first chakra, the very back of the coccyx and the front of the coccyx. It's represented by the color red. So if you want to think of a red wheel turning into balance, and we can connect with the root chakra when we stand up in Samasthiti, or it's nicknamed as Tadasana. And we can do the same pose and connect with the second chakra, which is the color orange. The back is the sacrum, and the front are the genitals. So a lot of people think of the second chakra as the sexual chakra or the sensual chakra, and it is, but it also can be the creative chakra. So if you're getting stuck in your creative process of your mind, if you're getting stuck in the creative aspect of your life, you can think about grounding and balancing the second chakra. Then we move on to the third chakra, yellow, as we continue to think about that wheel turning into balance. The back is the lumbar, the front is the solar plexus, and this is the dharmic chakra. This is about our purpose. What is our dharma? What are we here in life to do? This is about the relationship to ourselves. Connect to the third chakra when we do posture like standing separate leg, head to knee, where we're holding in that Mula Uddiyana Bandha. So now we move on to the fourth. This is the heart chakra, which is connecting to the back of the thoracic vertebra. The front is the heart. Thinking of a green wheel turning into balance. I like to think of camel as a wonderful way to open up the heart chakra, which we also call in Sanskrit Anusara, to open up your heart to the divine will of grace. So the camel pose going into a back bend and the rabbit pose going to a front forward bend will help to open up that area. Now we move on to the 5th chakra. Back is the cervical vertebra, the front is the throat, and this is a light blue color. So think of that light blue wheel turning into balance, and this is our expression of our words, that the words are coming from our hearts, so that when this chakra opens up, when that light blue wheel turns into balance, we can fully express ourselves through our words. And a great pose for the 6 chakras, any posture where we bring our chin to the chest. We call that the throat lock in yoga, or the Jalandhara Bandha, as in bridge pose, or separate leg head to knee pose. Moving on to the sixth chakra, this is, I think, the most fascinating one. The back is the medulla oblongata, the very top of the spine, and the front is the third eye. And this is where the yogis say we receive the vibration of cosmic consciousness through the back of the medulla oblongata, and we transmit it out through the third eye. So this is where we tap into a frequency, and the frequency of the connection or the immersion between man and the universe, between man and God, whatever God means to you. And this is where we have that connection. This is where we realize and tap into this frequency, which is pretty cool. There's a great exercise you can do for the sixth chakra. You take your two fingers and you rub it at the very top of the spine, clockwise and counterclockwise, to open up the passage right before meditation. If you're interested in studying more about meditation with me, we just launched the Barkan Method 8-week on-demand course, meditation course. Look down at the description below, click on the link. Now we move on to the seventh chakra, where there's no front and back. And the yogis refer to this chakra as the true connection to the universe. When we are opening up the seventh chakra, we're opening up our realization that we are not separate beings, that we are completely connected to the universe. And this is where we realize in meditation that we are part of a whole, not separate beings. And that's just a brief version of how the yogic postures and the chakras can connect. In fact, in this video, one of my most popular videos on the channel, we actually do an exercise where you do the postures with us in the studio to help balance out those chakras. So after you watch this video, make sure you check that out and do that exercise. It's been one of my most popular videos, so I wanted to follow up with this one. So now, how do the chakras and Tantric yoga connect? This is what I think is the most fascinating part, because this is actually more connected to Kriya yoga, which is also a form of Tantric yoga, or what we call spinal pranayama. So according to Yogananda and all the gurus before him, all the way up to Babaji, the concept of Kriya yoga, which is a Tantric technique, is to awaken a very powerful and dormant energy called the Kundalini Shakti that lays dormant down at the first chakra, the very base of the spine. So through the practice of pranayama and your intention of these meditation techniques, especially the breathing techniques, we aspire to awaken that energy out of the root chakra. So how does it work? Now, I've talked about before in many other videos, a very important concept in yoga is called the nadis, N-A-D-I-S, where we have 75,000 of these physical and ethereal channels working around us and through us. It's a very important concept in yoga, but there are three main ones. The right side channel is the Pingala, the left side is the Ida, and the center channel, the most important concept to Tantric and Hatha yoga, is the Sushumna Nadi, the center channel. So, all right, so now going back to the awakening of the Kundalini Shakti. So here it is at the base of the spine, and as we forcefully awaken that energy, it shoots out the Pingala, the right side, and the Ida, the left side. And then it intersects at the second chakra. Now, if that chakra is blocked, is stuck, then the energy will not ascend. It'll be stuck right there with the chakra. So we aspire to open up that second chakra, remember that orange wheel turning, to allow the energy to continue to shoot up. It's like a DNA strand. So now back out through the Ida and the Pingala and intersects at the third chakra. That's the yellow dharmic chakra. And if that chakra is blocked, the energy gets stuck there. But if that particular chakra is open, it continues to ascend to the fourth, and then to the fifth, and eventually to the sixth chakra. And that's the final destination of the Kundalini Shakti. Kundalini means she that coils. So as she rises from the base of the spine or the root chakra to the third eye or the sixth chakra, and if those chakras are open and balanced, the energy ascends. And as it ascends, according to the yogis, according to Babaji, Yogananda and all his gurus before him, we evolve. So how do we evolve through the chakras, through this whole process, through this whole concept? First of all, let's talk about reincarnation. 2/3 of the world believes in reincarnation, but in the West, especially if you're Jewish, especially if you're Christian, it's not a commonly known belief. So let's just imagine, for example, that you do believe in reincarnation, because that's the only way this equation is going to make sense. So here's the concept. Patanjali talks about, in his Yoga Sutras, samsara, which is what they call the hamster wheel, which is what keeps us coming back. Samsara means rebirth and death. And if we don't evolve to the state of enlightenment, to that final stage of samadhi, according to the yogis, we die and we come back into another lifetime, and we continue to do this process of rebirth and death, samsara, according to Yogananda, for 1,000,000 years. He says it takes 1,000,000 years for the average soul to reach samadhi, to reach enlightenment. So this is how the tantric concept of spinal pranayama will quicken that process. Yogananda talks about the 6 chakras having a front and back. Remember, the 7th doesn't have a front and back. So he says, think of the 7th as the sun. And think of the 6 chakras, front and back, or 12 in polarity. So we have 6 chakras, but front and back, so there's 12 in polarity. Think of the 6 chakras, 12 in polarity, that equal the 12 months of the year. So as we, according to Yogananda, through this tantric spinal Kundalini Kriya yoga technique, as we take one proper Kriya breath up those 6 chakras, from the base chakra to the 6th chakra and down again, in that DNA strand, that's an equivalent to 1 year of natural evolution. So that mathematically, in this incarnation, we could then reach that final level of samadhi through this tantric practice. But again, the only way that's going to happen is if these chakras are open. Otherwise, the energy gets stuck. Now, another mathematical equation on how the yogi reaches samadhi in this lifetime. So he doesn't have to be what they call earthbound. He transcends the earth. He transcends samsara and doesn't continue to reincarnate. He goes to another place of existence. The other mathematical equation is that the yogi slows his breath. So the yogi will take a long time to have one breath within his meditation process, especially in the Kriya yoga process. So instead of taking a short breath, he takes a long breath. It can go 30 seconds, it can go 60 seconds, it can go 70 seconds. And as you practice this technique, you can elongate or lengthen your breath. Here's an example. I'm going to show you how I can do a nice long breath. Get myself nice and tall. Let all the breath out first. You have to listen. That's the inhale. And that's the exhale. So that's about 30 seconds. I can go longer, and the yogis do go longer. So now they say the average person takes about 6 billion breaths in a lifetime. So now 6 billion breaths. Let's say you're 85 years old and death comes calling, and they go to the yogi and they say, okay, it's time for you to leave. However, the yogi hasn't taken 6 billion breaths. He's only taken 3 billion breaths. So what happens now to the yogi? He reaches samadhi. He goes to what they call salvikalpa samadhi, and he's able to reach a breathless state. Isn't that a cool concept? So back to the chakras in Tantric yoga. We awaken the Kundalini Shakti by bringing the pranic energy up the spine on the inhale and the apanic energy down the spine on the exhale. So the pranapan, that concept of the inhalation and exhalation, helps to awaken and balance these chakras. And we can also do it through our intention. We can also do it through yogic postures. Remember, watch that video and I give a whole exercise on how you can specifically open up those chakras through those 7 poses. We open up the chakras, we open up that center channel, the Sushumna Nadi. We allow the breath and the energy to flow freely, and we reach a higher state of consciousness, eventually enlightenment, the chakras, Tantric yoga, coming together. So that's our episode for today. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. Any comments you have, put them down below. I know this is a little different video than I've done before. I get to all the comments, and I thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next video. Bye, everyone.